Buat aqui no olho. Tira daqui no olho. Tira daqui no olho. Bethany, and this is the CapitalKknitting podcast. I'm really glad that I get to do this today. It's been a while. If you are a subscriber, you know it's been a while. And if you are new, feel free to hit that subscribe button because it really helps out my channel and I would just really appreciate it. Give me a few tries. You know, I always feel like that's a good rule of thumb. If you're new to someone's channel, like try a few of their videos and see if you like those, because not every format will hit you the same way. Long format videos, short format videos. So this is the yarn room in our new house. I am planning on like decking this thing out with all the things that I love, but I have yet to do that. So I am excited about the new year when I'll be able to have a little bit more time to, express my little enclosure the way that I want to. So first things first, if you want to see anything that I'm talking about, like a yarn that I'm talking about, or like a project that I'm referring to, my Ravelry project pages are all going to be in the link down here. I'm still going to go through this project in a lot of detail just because everybody doesn't have access to Ravelry, and when I'm watching a knitting podcast, I don't necessarily want to like go out of the podcast to go look for something and come back. I mean, if it's something really great, I'll do that sometimes, but a lot of times I would just like to, make a note of what that person used and move on from there. So, so there are also timestamps in the description. So if you're kind of like, this is taking a minute to get through this project, I'd rather look at the works in progress, you can do that. They're all in the description below. Okay, so finished objects. This is my newest addition to my sweaters. This is the Dad Sweater by Emily Curtis. It's one of my new favorites, guys. I've made 7 sweaters this year, which is amazing to have gone from 0 sweaters to 7. That's crazy. I will say I gifted 2 of them because the way the fit was on both of them, I would have had to frog them all the way back to like the end of the yoke, because they were both top down, to be able to make them the way I wanted to. And so I thought, you know what? The yoke is really my favorite part. Why wouldn't I just knit those again entirely and give these to someone else? So that is the plan at some point, to reknit those two. So that means this is my 5th sweater that I've kept. Oh my goodness. It is so great. So first of all, it's a top-down sweater, so I'm just going to work from there. We have our little double folded collar, which, you know me, I love a double folded collar. And I usually really like a provisional cast on for that, but I like the stability that comes from not doing that. I think that's really nice. The only thing that I don't like the way I did it is picking up some of these stitches back here isn't the neatest. And so I think if I did it again, I'd try to be more, just more consistent about how I was going about that. But when I folded it down and it's still really stretchy, which is nice. It's kind of I believe it's a 3-needle bind off that she uses for that. But some people, because of their technique that they prefer, they've bound off and sewn it in. Of course, you can modify techniques however you want when you're doing something like this. One of my favorite parts of this sweater, sorry, there's hair on it because I've been wearing it quite a bit. One of my favorite parts about this sweater is the sleeves. They're so great, and I have some chunky arms on me, and I'm not mad about it. They're fine, but it does mean that I need to be mindful of the fit of different sleeves. And I know some people really like they'll knit straight and then do a rapid decrease for a kind of, I feel like people call it a balloon sleeve. It feels like a princess sleeve to me, I think that's a better name for it, but I don't know if that's accurate. Maybe princess sleeve means something else. But then we have our tubular bind off here, and you can see the decrease is just on this one side. And the reason that is because it's a little more of a traditionally masculine way to decrease the sleeves. So if you had it on both sides, or all around, it would be that poof. But because it's just on the one side, it just gives it a little more volume. And you can see that the decreases, I was going to say the decreases increase. I guess that's accurate. You do more and more and more as you go, which makes it really wonderful when you have it on. It's just, it fits really well, but at the same time, it's not restrictive. I feel like a lot of regular decreases on sleeves are. So I did not do a tubular bind off on, I had something has flown. Fiber somewhere has gotten on my nose. Sorry. I did not do a tubular bind off on the bottom. I did a faux tubular bind off on the bottom, which I think looks kind of cool. And I did it that way on purpose because, on purpose, but I don't regret doing it that way because I never see the bottom bind off of my sweaters. It's not really a big deal to me what those, if they look as professional as everything else. Now the tubular bind off on the sleeves, I see that all the time. I see it all day long, especially since I work on my computer for my job, and so I see my wrists all darn day. Oof, there we go. That hair just popped right out of there, didn't it? Another thing I like about the sleeves is it has this set-in sleeve look. And what's great about a set-in sleeve is that you don't have all that fabric bunched up under your underarm because there's more fabric up here than there is down here. Now, this is not a seamed sweater. This isn't a true set-in sleeve. It's more of a drop shoulder pickup, but then the way they do the, what do I want to say? It's almost like a sleeve cap that you do with short rows, and then you continue on. So I really love the fit. I love how it feels, and it may be I've been wearing it a lot. I was going to say I haven't really taken it off. I don't wear it to bed, obviously, but I've thought about it a couple of times just because it's so soft and wonderful. I made mine out of shepherd's wool in the denim colorway, and I made mine a little cropped. I've got my high-waisted jeans on today, and I've been wearing it with some skirts that I made recently, and that's just been a really good choice. I like it a lot. Yeah, I don't think I can say enough about how great the design is. Also, it comes with two two patterns. So it's a standard shoulder and a broad shoulder. I knit size 3 in the broad shoulder because I wanted kind of an oversized dad sweater look. And I think I got there with that. And then also there's a hacking guide that's included in it, so that if you are concerned about a certain proportions of your body being fit well, then you can look at that and make adjustments accordingly. She kind of gives you the ins and out of what you would need to do with that. So that is great. Okay, and I'm going to wear it to our Christmas tree decorating day at my mom's today because I just really like it. And then my second finished object is my strawberry tea socks. You can tell I've worn these. I actually wore them yesterday. And the bottom heel part is already looking a little, the color is looking a little faded just because of the wear that's been happening on it so far. I really like these. They are so fun. The main yarn is Sweet Georgia in her Tough Love sock base in the colorway Strawberry Tea. And then these are just knitted whip minis in Carnelian, Black Magic, Beaujolais, and Spiced Chai. And I just did my kind of perfect sock recipe. And so I did 20 rounds of ribbing at the top. I did my leg, which I actually usually like a longer leg than this. You can see these are my favorite pair of socks so far. And the leg is like, I don't know, maybe an inch to an inch and a half longer. Like the whole ribbing is coming out from there. I find that a longer leg helps the socks stay on my foot better. So this is about as short as I'm willing to go on a leg. Look, and I don't really do the joggler stripe thing on socks. I don't mind. It doesn't matter to me. What I would have preferred if I would have remembered to put them on the opposite sides so that I could put them on the inside of my leg, but I forgot about that. So yeah. And my ends, I wove them in, but you can kind of see them poking out here. So I need to pull them back through. But yeah, I have my tread heavy heel going on here. This is the heel flap and gusset version because I'm just really into a slip stitch heel right now. I really enjoy that. And then I've got my slip stitch on the ball of the toe here. It goes all the way from the back of the heel underneath through the gusset decreases and then here on the ball of the foot as well. And I'm going to wear those today too because they're fantastic. And yeah, and kind of, I don't know, kind of festive. I know they look really autumnal if you're thinking of autumn, like that makes sense. But if I'm thinking of Christmas, that makes a little bit of sense too. So yeah. Okay. So on to works in progress. Because I have so enjoyed having 3 pairs of socks to call my own. Some of you might be like, oh my gosh, you only own 3 pairs of socks. How in the heck do you have a perfect sock recipe for yourself? Well, here's the deal. It's taken a lot of trial and error, first of all. And I've knit probably 20 pairs of socks, 22 maybe. And I've gifted them to different people. Mostly because a 64 stitch sock is going to fit a lot of different people. So I've gifted socks. I'm a little bit of a chronic gift knitter. I'll start something thinking, oh, this is so cute. And then by the end of it, I'm like, you know who this would be perfect for? This person. And then I'll gift it to them. And then I'll think, why don't I have any socks? I've made a bunch of socks. Why don't I have any? So it's a little bit silly, and I'm trying to get better at that, at making myself things that I would really like, and throughout the process, sticking with it. And when I think, you know who this would be perfect for, I try to tell myself, me. It would be perfect for me. That's what would be great. Sorry, I'm knitting while I'm talking to you because these are just a little bit addictive to me. I have these other vanilla socks on the needles, and they're just kind of flying by, and I really, really like them. So I finished one, and this is Patons Croy sock yarn, and the self-striping is called Blue Stripe Rag, and then this is just their black, and that's the colorway Coal. And I have not knit with a true black yarn before. I've knit with some Let Low Be Galaxy and things like that, and they have like little flecks and variations in the black that are really beautiful, and I really love working with that yarn. But this is a true black. There were, even in the daylight, sometimes I was like, what decrease am I looking at here? So yeah, especially on the toe, I was trying to count at one point and was like, I think that's right. So it turned out just fine. I did do 18 rows on the cuff here just because that's where my little orange stripe started. And with self-striping yarn, I change my beginning of round all the time because I want the stripes to look right. Excuse me. So, yeah, I didn't really, I did my amount of rows that I normally do for the foot, except I started the black, I think, a row or two sooner than I normally would have. So my toe is actually technically a little bit longer, just because, first of all, I didn't want to be in the middle of a stripe, and I definitely didn't want to be in the middle of like this navy stripe and then go into the black. That would have been, I feel like that would have looked weird. So this one's all done, and I'm very excited about it because that means that I just have one more to do. And I'm all the way down to the gusset decreases because I usually do one leg and then do the other leg, just because I feel like there's way less sock to do at that point. So I did this leg, I did that leg, and then just the whole sock really because I got excited. And then I came back to do this one, and I have probably 10 rows of the gusset decreases left to do, which means that it'll probably only take me a couple days to finish this boy up. I'm really excited about these socks. These, my favorite pair, are made of Patons Croy as well. I really like their sock yarn. It's not the fanciest, and I think that's kind of why I like it. It's not super slick, it's toothy, it's hardy, it's a really good workhorse yarn. I've had these for two years, and they were my only pair of socks for the first year, my only pair of knit socks for the first year, and I wore them all the time, and I've literally worn them out at this point. I darned the bottom of these because I wasn't doing my tread heavy at that point, so I've darned the bottom of them like duplicate stitched under them. But now the ball of the foot is going out, which is why I added the tread heavy ball of the foot option there. But I think these are going to last me a really long time. I'm excited about them. And of course, if you have more than one pair of socks, you're not going to wear through your socks as quickly. So that'll be great to get those done. I do a 64 stitch circumference, and then I do my socks on a 2.25 millimeter needle. Yeah. I think I might, I've been thinking about if I want to change that a little bit. Sometimes the leg feels a little, I don't know, stiff as I'm putting it on, but I do give myself pretty long legs. So I don't know, I might just think about that for a little bit more, because right now it is pretty perfect, and I'm afraid that if I tweak it a little bit more, then I'll like go over onto this other side where I've messed it up. So yeah, there's that. I also have my two shawls that have been on my needles forever. I'll show you those really quickly, and then I'll show you a couple of new cast-ons, even though the sock was also new cast-on, right? But it's so cute, and it's almost done. It's so great. Okay, so this is my As You Wish Lyrical Knits. It was a mystery knit along. That has been over for like months and months, the mystery part of it. So I do not feel bad. If you haven't finished yours yet and you don't want to see it, like, you and me, we can knit however fast or slow we want, but like, it's not my fault. that you had some type of spoiler right now, just so you know. So, here it is. I just finished clue 4. It is so big, it's gonna block out. Look at how big it's gonna block out. Oh my goodness. Look at this thing. It's amazing. And of course, I have a bunch of ends that I need to deal with. Some of them have been knit in, and so I just need to clip those, but some of them have not. Some of them I actually do need to actually weave in. But I'll take care of that. I don't mind weaving in ends. I don't think it's a bad step in the process. It actually is, I get excited when it's time to weave in the ends because that means it's done usually. So, yeah, so it's getting there. I just have one more clue to go, and I looked at it and I want to say that it's not as big as the other clues were. I want to say that. I don't know if that's true. I don't know if that's just me being like, don't worry, it won't take very long. It's fine. And really, it might take a while. I don't know. That's being, I can't remember the recommended needle size, but I knit all of my stuff on Chowgoos if I can. I just really enjoy the feel of those needles. And this one is on a fixed 3.25, a US 3. And that's been pretty good. I think fingering weight shawls on a 3 point, like probably the biggest I'm willing to go is a 3.75 with a fingering weight shawl, just at my gauge with fingering weight yarn. I like a little bit of a denser fabric than I don't like a lot of holes in my knitting, which is funny because I think a lot of lace knitting is beautiful. And then when but I would have to be okay with like it being holy because that's what lace is. So I'm trying to get to not just an appreciation of that, but like a skill level, like appreciation of that. You know what I mean? Yeah. So maybe I should start out with some lace socks or something. Those didn't used to make sense to me. I would be like, why would you want holes in your wool socks? And now I'm like, it's wool, it's thermal regulating. It's gonna be okay if there's a couple of little holes in there, especially if they're purposeful. It's fine. This is my Brioche-alicious shawl. This is also on a fixed needle, and this is on a US 5, a 3.75, which is about as big as I'm willing to go on this sucker. I can't remember if that's the recommended needle size. I think I went up that high because I know that Andrea Mowry's gauge, she's a continental knitter, and I've like seen videos of her knitting, right, from tutorials and stuff, and she's just a looser knitter than I am, and so that's why I went up to that size. This is the Brioche-alicious shawl. I have my first brioche section here, and it's gorgeous. This is We Don't Talk About Bruno. The green and the flecks of like brown and it's like a silvery green. I really like it. And then this is just an undyed bear sock yarn. I cannot remember which. I think maybe it's Knit Picks. And I got that from a friend who was letting go of her dyeing business. And so I really like it. I like the bear stuff. It's nice. It's and this is just the second garter section. I finally got that finished, and I'm going to be able to go into the second brioche section. I did do a few rows of the second brioche section, but I started it while I was watching a movie, and that's just not a good idea for me. Once it's actually like built and I can see it, I can get in the rhythm and like kind of understand where I'm at if I put it down. But if I haven't yet, there's just no hope for me. I love brioche and I like the rhythm of brioche. I don't understand it well enough to fix mistakes very well, and I don't understand it well enough to look at it and be like, oh, I just need to like adjust this and then I'll be back on track. That's just not, I'm just not that person. Because you can see here on this part, I must have done a bark where I should have done a burp or the other way around or something, because over here it's in front when it shouldn't be. Or I did like an accidental increase. I can't really figure it out. I'm not sure. But it bothers me so much because one of the things that I love about brioche is the uniformity and like the columns and the rows. So I still haven't gone in to do like a duplicate stitch over that to see if I can make it acceptable to myself or not, but we'll see. And also with knitting, fingering away at this gauge, weaving in ends is like, I don't know. I don't like it as much. It's harder to do. I'm still trying to figure out how to keep it together with that. I'm not sure. Yeah. But I really love, I'm trying to see if you can, yeah, there you go. See all the tones in there? There's even like little yellows and stuff. So I'm really excited to add this one in. This one is Malabrigo sock in the colorway Sneezy, like Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, Sneezy. And I've been wanting to use this for a pair of caramel sauce socks by Joji Locatelli for, I think, like 2 years now. And I have yet to do it. So I'm just going to add this into this shawl because I think she said it should only take like 40 grams or something. And that means I'll have enough for a pair of socks to be left over. So then it'll all be used up and it'll be great. So those two things are still going. They're still putzing along, right? I have been casting off projects so that I could try and get my whips down to like a reasonable number. I don't know what reasonable even is. I'm still trying to kind of find that out. But I'm finding that when I have my whips down to a lower number, then I'm able to almost knit a pair of socks in maybe a week, maybe 10 days by the time I get those done, which is really great. I think that's going to be really awesome. Obviously, we're entering the season where I'm also working on some Christmas knits. So my whip number has gone up. And I'm totally okay with that. I think that's fine. This is going to be, yeah, just fine. Speaking of Christmas gifts, this is going to be the Christmas gift part of the podcast because it's going to feature things that I've already finished and things that I'm working on. So I got some sock tubes cranked from the sock farm or the yarn farm on Etsy a long time ago, months and months ago, maybe a year ago. And I didn't realize that I wouldn't really have use for a 72 stitch circumference sock tube at that point. And so it just kind of sat there and I was thinking like, well, I can knit off of it. That's fine. And that would be kind of cool because it would never have like yarn barf or anything going on. That'll be nice. But I was thinking about how to use the things that I already have for gifts for people that I love, because I often get inspired at this time of the year, like it's December 11th today. Like this is not the time to be inspired for gifts. You know what I mean? Like the time to be inspired was about 2 weeks ago, maybe more. And, but I was like, okay, I can do this though. I can figure this out. So what I did is I took my sock tube and I got the two ends here and then just did a Kitchener stitch after I twisted one, like just half a turn. So then it's one of those cool crossy headbands. So here we go. So it'll go over the ears and just up like this. It's super cute. My hair is so big today. I look like a little mushroom with this on. But you can see it'll like fit over your ears. And I often like to wear them actually with the crossover part in the back because the fabric being like not as wide in the back is nice for me. if you want to wear it like more as a headband type of thing. And that way you can see like it doesn't make your hair in the back like, you know, go up like that. I'm going to take this off. I actually did my hair a little bit today, so I'd like to not mush it around too much. It's tree decorating day, guys. So I did 2 of them. I was able to get 2 out of one of the sock tubes, and one of them's a little bigger in circumference because one is for my mom for her birthday. Her birthday is December 19th. And then one is for my sister-in-law, Katie. I have her as from our sibling gift exchange. And I'm trying to line these bottom ones up so you can see this one's a little bit bigger, and that's okay because Katie, she has like fairy tale, like big spirally curly coily hair. Like think Merida from the movie Brave, and then like just make her a brunette. That's her hair. And so she needs a little bit more room, I think. I also modified this finished object. These have been finished for a while. These I finished several months ago. I was trying to use up some yarn, and I did successfully use what I was wanting to use. These are 100% alpaca wool. Oh, this is Malabrigo sock in the colorway Piedras, if you're wanting that. Yeah. This is 100% alpaca. This is, I think, Juniper Moon, if I remember correctly. I'll look at my project page and see if I'm correct about that. And these are the convertible mitts that I've made before by, I want to say her last name is Ewing. And in this version, I cabled all the way up. That's not how it is in the original version. But I thought it would be cute if the cables like matched up here on the mitt, you know? I thought that would be cute. So I still think it's cute. I still think it's a good idea. And I've been like beta testing them basically because I wasn't sure if doing the thumb, like having the thumb done as you would for a mitten rather than a fingerless mitt was the best idea for a comfortable mitt. And after wearing them a couple of times, I decided it's actually better to have this, like the end of the thumb cut off. So I did. I tore it back and forgot to do the ribbing and just bound it off because I was really excited, but I'm okay with that. I think it's fine. I think it'll be good. I don't think there's going to be a ton of stretch or what's the word I'm looking for? Like, it's not going to need to bounce back a ton because it's just the thumb. It's not like your fingers that are going like that, you know? So that is also for Katie. And I am a person who always thinks someone needs, like, if it's little, right? Not that these aren't full of intention and skill and love, but if it's little, I always feel like there should be 3 things. So I'm still thinking about what the 3rd thing should be. Because I don't have enough time to wear. I don't have enough time to knit like a pair of socks or anything like that. So I've been thinking about like what's something maybe chunky I could make her, or I don't know. I'm not sure. So I'm still thinking about that. Then I also have on my other side, on the sibling exchange, I have my sister Emily, and if you remember her, she's just a dear heart, and she's joined me a couple times on the podcast. She is a D&D player, and so I thought it would be fun to make her Cat from Heather and Hops. She has this pattern for a dice bag, and it's called I think it's called Fuggles bag, which is off of her husband Alex's D&D character. And it is 3 strands of fingering weight held together. So I'm doing a Patton's Croix in the flax colorway sock yarn. I've got a superwash sock yarn from Moonstone Dye Works, and that is in the Artemis colorway. And then I've got this Holst Super Soft in the colorway Tundra. I love that they put it on the inside of the cone. That's such a good idea. Yeah, and I'm realizing that I still have so much of this left, and it's such a thin, like I know that it blooms, right? But it's such a thin yarn. I've been thinking about holding it double as like the main body yarn for an alpenglow sweater. Just been really thinking about that because I want to cast on all the sweaters this January, just like I did last January. That's what I want to do. But we have to get through Christmas first. So I've got this. I'm doing the 2 cable version. So you can see this one here and this one here. They lean different directions. I'm going to try and like hide my face here so maybe you can see better. And it's really fun. I really like it. I'm knitting the large version, which is she has a small, medium, and large option. And you can see it's kind of fun because the increases make it look like a, can you see it? The increases make it look like a spiral kind of on the bottom. It might be easier to see once I get it done. But I'm doing a really short magic loop situation here, and I think it's coming out really well. I thought it would be blending or marling a little more on the green side. It looks like the Artemis is just kind of fading into the flax there, and the Holst is just like little pops are coming out with that. But I think that's okay. From what I've seen of her character has like greens and like earth tones and stuff. I believe I might get this wrong, so if you're a D&D player, please don't be offended. I believe her character is a halfling ranger, I believe. So I think this is going to be really fun. There's a game store next to me. It's like 2 miles from our house. And so I thought it'd be fun to make this and then put some dice in it and, you know, say Merry Christmas. I have another thing that I've sewn for her. I also want to sew her this like cute top before Christmas because it's just a handmade Christmas for me right now. That's what's happening. That's what's happening because, yeah. Finances are way different at this point in the year than they were last year. My husband no longer works for the Army. And even though nobody joins the Army for the money, if there's anything that you can say about the Army is that they do pay you. They sometimes don't pay you on time, but they do pay you. And if they didn't pay you on time, they try to make up for it. So that's nice. The beginning of this in the pattern is supposed to be like a crochet magic ring. I did not do that. I just did what I normally do for casting on a Musselburgh and then took my tail and like looped it through and pulled it. And then I just increased according to what it said, like how many stitches of the crochet ring you were supposed to have at that point. And then you're supposed to like pick up stitches around this magic ring, right? And do your dice bag, which I think maybe would have given it a firmer bottom. And I am willing to try that. I'm willing to learn to crochet that part. Except just not right now. Not when I'm gift knitting. I feel like that would stress me out right now. And so I've been thinking about making another one at some point because it's a dice bag, but it's also just a nice bag. See what I did there? I think it's really cute, and especially with the cabling and stuff, I think it can be, it would just be a really sweet thing to make for someone, especially if it was like packaging that you were putting around. Also, this is a free pattern. I don't know if I said that. This is a free pattern that she has on Ravelry. She has lots of other patterns that are totally worth buying. This one I feel like she could have charged for, but it's free. So feel invited to go and download that guy because it has been really fun. I like that she puts purl stitches on the outside of the cables. That's really nice. I have heard about that before, and I've knit cabled patterns before. Well, I've knit a sweater with cables in it. Well, and I've knit other cabled patterns, I guess. The mittens I just showed you had cables on them, but I don't think I've been able to see as well what the pearl bumps on the side of the cables do for helping those pop out before. So that's fun to be able to see that. So like I said, I should probably have it on a longer cord. This is a 4mm fixed ChowGoo needle. I probably could have sized up to a 5. But honestly, I like how tight the fabric is. I think it was a little hard to get through at the bottom to be able to do those stitches without it hurting my hands as much. But I like the gauge. I like the fabric. I like how it's not really drapey. It's stiff and good. And so I think after it's blocked, obviously it'll relax a little bit, and that will be good. That means that it being stiff right now is gonna make sure that it's just a more relaxed thing instead of like floppy, when it's done. So that'll be nice. Okay, and the last thing on my needles is a hat. This is the Porty hat by Ysolda Teague. I really like this pattern. I know some people just do a ribbed version of the Musselburgh, and you could do that with the Porty hat. They're very similar. You can do them with any weight yarn. I'm holding this fingering weight double. It's a tweed alba long merino alpaca and viscose blend. Wow. I didn't even need a label for that. And it is, I forget the colorway. I'll put it up here on the screen. I've done this same, I've worked with this same yarn before for a modified Musselburgh, where I just kind of, I didn't knit it all the way down. I knit it probably to where that halfway point would be, and then did the ribbing so that it was just like a regular hat. Which you can always do with the Musselburgh. And with the Porty, you could always just like keep knitting and then fold it in on itself like you do with the Musselburgh. That would be fine too. But I found that with this, I didn't have enough for the Musselburgh to do like all the way as long as I would need to do it. So first of all, with ribbing, obviously you're using a little more yarn with each stitch. And so I think that will be good for getting through this yarn like to a reasonable place before I would need to stop. And then this is for my husband for Christmas. He likes this kind of yellow. He bought me this yarn last Christmas, and I thought it would be great to give him a hat that he could wear. Now this is a non-superwash yarn, so I am taking a risk here. At least I think it is. It didn't say it was superwash on the thing. The fact that it includes viscose, though, makes me think I should probably double check. But, first of all, me knitting him anything is a stretch because he's just not a very knit-worthy person. The things that he says about knitting for, like, himself, I'm always like, that's impossible. No one can make that. You know what I mean? He wants a sock that's so tight. Like if I were ever to make him socks, I think he wouldn't be able to get them on because he wants them to be the elastic ones you get from the store. Like that's the kind of socks that he wants. And that's okay. Knit socks are different. When you know that they're different than bought socks, like, and you know why they're valuable and stuff, then it's fine. You can like both of them for the things they bring. But I don't even know if a ribbed sock would make it the way that he wants it to be. So I'm making him this hat, and I think he will like it, but it's also kind of a 50-50 here. So I don't know. Yeah, I'm not sure how it's going to go, but he said if I were to make him a hat, he would like it in this color. And he said that months and months ago. So I'm doing that. And I think I will eventually, this is my goal. I would like to find a thing that he prefers as a hand knit thing. Like, it doesn't have to be all the things. I don't expect him to want all these hand knit sweaters. Like, he's just a rough and tumble person. Like, he is out in his wood shop all the time. It's actually better for him most of the time to not be wearing nice clothing because he's dealing with paint and stain and sawdust and all of that stuff. But for a hat, you know, you can kind of shake the sawdust off, and it's very unlikely that he'd be flinging paint and stain up by his head. So that is the plan with this, that I would try out a couple of things because I know socks are not his thing. I've had him try on a pair that I knit for my brother, and he almost had like a visceral reaction. He was like, these are so, I know. And I was like, okay, great. I was just checking the fit, but good to know. So, yeah, so maybe hats are the thing that he would like. I think I might try and knit him, there's this cowl by Max the Knitter. I want to say it's The Snuggle is Real. Maybe. So I think something like that might also be up his alley, but I don't have the time to do that one right now. Also, my husband's birthday is in July. So whenever his birthday comes around, it's not like a time where he would want to receive a knitted item. So that is what I'm doing with that. So pray for me as I just am kind of trying to let go of the responses from people of knit objects. Honestly, my mother, she's gonna love what I give her. Emily's gonna love what I give her. I don't know if Katie will like what I give her, but she's nice. So, you know, I have been pretty clear with the people that I've gifted things to before to like, hey, can you be really honest with me about the fit and like the texture and what you like and what you don't like? Because if you don't like it, I can do something else, and honestly, I can keep that, I think, for myself because I like it. And like, if I were to knit you something in the future, it would be really sad to me that like I just twice knit you something that you didn't like or that didn't fit you well. So that's been a thing that I've had to talk to people about, and it's gotten pretty well so far. It's gotten pretty well. So yeah, I think other than these things that are on my needles that I want to get done, I also want to knit pairs of mittens for my kids for Christmas. I think that would be really, really cute. I've thought about having socks for them. Like, okay, I think it'd be really cute if every year they got a pair of socks in their stocking, like a socks in a sock. I think that would be adorable, but that's going to take more prep time. And honestly, like, I'm just going to need to get my rearing gear around that, like, in October probably, if I'm going to knit 4 pairs of socks that fit them, yeah, by December for all of them. So that's where we're at around that. I'm there are some goals that I'm just having to be like, that'll be so cute next year. And it will be. It'll be super cute next year. So I'm trying to prioritize around what will take me the least amount of time for gifts. So I'm going to try and finish the Fuggle bag because I think I have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 4 more repeats of my cable to do before I start like the top portion. That's just like, you know, where you pull the drawstring through and the ribbing and then this little bind off part. So it shouldn't take me very much longer. I really, really like this one. It's not taking very long because it's 3 strands of fingering weight together. And when I get this done, I'm just going to be I know these cables are, they're already looking so good. which is great because I'm marling like these different colors and the cables are still prominent enough for you to see. So that's nice. Emily would notice them anyway because she's a knitter, so she would get it. But yeah, I think if I did it in either a lighter yarn like holding 3 of the same together, the same color, or like a few that wouldn't come out as contrasty, you know. I think that would be pretty. Anyway, that's the last thing here. I gotta get moving, guys. I have so much I want to knit. And the only thing I wanted to show you next is some acquisitions. So if you just wanted to be here for the knitting part, that's totally fine. One of my acquisitions is not something you can really buy because it's something from MJ's grandmother. So if you're not wanting to be knit-fluenced into buying anything, that's okay. Actually, both of the things that I have, you can't purchase right now. So feel free to just look at them and admire them with me. So MJ's grandma came for Thanksgiving, and she brought me a bunch of yarn and a bunch of needles and a bunch of notions that she used to use, and that has been lovely. She is always bringing me things, so I'm going to show you some of my favorites. So she brought me some Patons Croy, or not Patons Croy, this is just Patons Worsted, I think. Patons Worsted, and oh my goodness, it's all wool, guys. It's just all wool. And it's beautiful, and it's these lovely colors, so they're really nice. And like there's this darker red too that she has balled up. I think they're just so lovely, and some black in there. Ooh, I might make my brother's hat out of that. I love my brother so much. I am going to knit him a hat out of black yarn. That's right. That's how much I love him. And then she gave me this like notions tin, and that's really cute because you can fit the smaller size DPNs fit in there. And then these needle stoppers that I really like. These are kind of more like the small size needles would fit in there, but these are like sock size needles that fit in here, and I've never had those before, and I'm very excited about those. The second thing I wanted to show you is Knitting Niqabi's New Year Countdown Advent box. Look at this. It had this little thing in here. It says, hold your breath, make a wish, count to 3, which of course is the line from Willy Wonka before he starts the song about pure imagination. And then so this is, you're supposed to open the first day on, so my little day 1 thing is here, and that's for December 26th. And then you open a little bag each day, and then New Year's Day has this one in it. And I believe each day has a 50 gram, and then the New Year has 100 gram. She does naturally dyed non-superwash yarns, and I think I got the DK size for this advent calendar, which I'm really excited because I think I'm going to be making a sweater out of these. Sorry, I just really want to open them all right now, and I forgot there's candy in the bottom of here. Okay, well, yeah, I've been thinking about looking up DK colorwork, sweater patterns, or stripy DK patterns, and doing that because I think that would be really fun. Okay, last thing I want to show you just real quick is this mushroom fabric. I got this mushroom fabric, and it's only a yard. So if you're a sewist and you are like, oh my gosh, this is my favorite pattern for just a yard of fabric, please let me know. I want to turn it into something cute, and there was only a yard left on the bolt. There was only one lonely yard left on the bolt. So And it's like a brushed cotton or like a flannel or something. It's pretty cute. So it's soft, is what I mean to say. Not intended for children's sleepwear though, just so you know. That's it for today. Thanks for joining me. If you made it to the end of the podcast, leave me a little emoji. I would love that. And I will see you guys probably next year. I don't know if I'll be able to get another video out of a podcast variety. I might be able to do a shorter form video before the end of the year, but if I'm not able to do that, I will see you in 2023. I am hoping to do a all the things I knit in 2022 video. I love those videos. I think that would be so fun. But I'm hoping to get these done before the end of the year. I'm gonna get them done. I'm obsessed. I'm gonna get them done before the end of the year. But we'll see if I get all these things done before next year. Have a great day, guys.